Hello everyone, welcome to Veranda IAS in this series of lectures of current affairs associated with social issues. The topic of the discussion today is Immunization Agenda 2030, IA 2030, very important topic. The learning objectives of the day are to discuss the IA 2030, Immunization Agenda 2030, to discuss the recent news regarding IA 2030, why this topic is in news, to list the targets of IA 2030. What are the targets? What are the objects, aims of IA 2030? Then we'll expand the key highlights of the IA program. We'll explain intensified mission Indradhanush. What is it and what is the role of this mission in achieving immunization in India? Then we'll discuss about the rainbow vaccine. Rainbow vaccine. What is rainbow vaccine? What can you think of this name? Rainbow vaccine. See, here we have mission Indradhanush. Here we have rainbow vaccine. Indradhanush mission has this objective to assure immunization or vaccination of children against 7 diseases. Those 7 vaccines represent the 7 colors of rainbow. We'll see what all 7 diseases are there covered in rainbow vaccine. Before that, universal immunization program. See, we have the list of SDG. As per the list, there is SDG which tells us to assure good health and well-being, SDG number 4. So we have to make sure that according to that as well, and also for a healthy population, immunization is very important. One of the important concerns of the COVID-19 pandemic was the basic immunization, the basic vaccination of the children was missed. Because of the lockdown, the children who used to get the immunization against various diseases at the young age, the children of 0 to 6 years of age, we can say, were prone to various diseases, and this is one of the challenges in front of all the nations because of the lockdowns. So immunization plays very important role, especially in the lives of children, and also after COVID-19 pandemic, we know that vaccination is very much important for everyone. Also, universal immunization program's achievement, if we talk, then in 2014 it was the elimination of polio. 2015 it was the elimination of prenatal tetanus. So these are the achievements of universal immunization program. By universal immunization program, achieving aims and objectives of that program, we achieved the fight, we won the fight against polio in 2014 and then prenatal tetanus in 2015. Similarly, the list of the diseases is still there with which we have to fight. We'll discuss about IA 2030 first. What is Immunization Agenda 2030? It establishes an audacious, comprehensive, global vision and plan for vaccines and immunization from 2021 to 2030. Important topic in news, will be in news for upcoming years. It makes sure or it aims that vaccines and immunization reaches to the people globally, universally from 2021 to 2030. The IA 2030 is built on the lessons learned from the Global Vaccine Action Plan. Earlier it was Global Vaccine Action Plan. Whatever loopholes were there, whatever problems were there, those are tackled by IA 2030. It attempts to meet the Global Vaccine Action Plan's unfulfilled objectives. Whatever objectives were not achieved of GVAP, those all will be listed in IA 2030, and also the steps, the problems why these objectives were not achieved by GVAP, that will also be concerned, which were originally intended to be addressed as part of the decade of vaccines, Global Immunization Plan. 2011 to 2020 was the decade of vaccines, was declared as decade of vaccines. Next, what is IA 2030? GVAP was established in 2012. The history is GVAP was established in 2012 to contribute to the realization of the decade of vaccines, which was from 2010 to 2020 goal, which is for all individuals and communities to live free of vaccine preventable illnesses. Those diseases which we can prevent with the help of vaccine, all the human beings should be free of vaccine preventable illnesses. This is what was the aim. It is founded on a conceptual framework of 7 strategic themes with the goal of ensuring that vaccination fully contributes to strengthening primary health care and achieving universal health coverage. Overall, the attempt is to make sure that primary health care is not compromised and achieving universal health coverage. IA 2030 envisions a world. IA 2030 envisions a world where everyone, everywhere, at every age, fully benefit from vaccines for good health and well-being. You can quote this line in your answers. The vision of IA 2030. A world where everyone, everywhere, and at every age fully benefit from vaccines for good health and well-being. What are some of the principles of this Agenda 2030, Immunization Agenda 2030? People are at the center of the agenda. The main focus is the people, is the population. It is people-centered. It is led by various countries. It is on the basis of leadership of the country. Country leadership is important. Then implementation is done through broad partnerships, and then it is data-driven. The data-driven principle tell us it is data-driven means that the data is used for assuring immunization and vaccination all around the globe. Next, what are IA 2030 targets? Vaccine preventable illnesses will be prevented in 50 million people during the next decade. The next decade, 50 million people. 50 million people will be prevented or will be benefited, will be the beneficiaries of IA 2030. Vaccine preventable illnesses will be prevented in this much population. The target aims to achieve a 50% reduction in the number of children receiving no dose, at least 50% decline in the number of children receiving no dose. Then IA targets to complete 500 national or sub-national rollouts of novel or underutilized vaccinations such as those for COVID-19, rotavirus or human papilloma virus, that is HPV, popularly we call it as HPV. So IA targets to complete 500 national or sub-national rollouts. The goal is to attain 90% coverage for key children and adolescent vaccinations. 90% coverage for key children and adolescent vaccinations. Then next objective or aim is to guarantee that the advantages of vaccination are distributed fairly between and within countries. Again, we have discussed about north-south divide. This should not be the case here. So IA, Immunization Agenda, aims that irrespective of the area of the continent of the country to which you belong, the advantages or the benefits of IA 2030 should reach to all the countries, should reach to all the people. Advantages of vaccination are distributed fairly between and within countries. Between the countries as well and within the countries as well, there should be no disparity. Why IA 2030 is in news? In April 2021, IA 2030 was launched by United Nations. And other agencies during the World Immunization Week. Important. April 2021, IA 2030 was launched. It is from 2021 to 2030. It was launched by United Nations under the celebrations of World Immunization Week, which every year is celebrated in the month of April. This year, the theme of this week was Vaccines Bring Us Together, Bring Us Closer. This was the theme of this year's World Immunization Week. Also, in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen that people are understanding the need of vaccination as well. This is the high time where the authorities are also understanding, and also the people are now interested in getting vaccinated. They are also understanding the seriousness of vaccination and immunization. So basically, this is the high time where we can easily promote vaccination as well. In this time, in this backdrop, if we are launching IA 2030, that is a novel step. The objective of launching IA 2030 was to achieve the UN mandated SDGs, especially SDG 3rd, it is good health and well-being. Next, 2 years back, the world faced pandemic. One of the important aftermaths of COVID-19 pandemic was the missed routine immunizations globally. After that, we saw the reports as well which were telling that this is going to be very difficult for the upcoming generations, for the children of this time, to bear the aftermath of missed routine immunizations. Though things are coming back to track, but still some immunizations which were missed by the children, probably in future we might see the reports claiming that these are the challenges or these are the effects of missed routine immunizations during the lockdowns. Next, key highlights of the program. The program emphasized on underprivileged communities. See, again the thing is, who is privileged or one who can afford, he or she will be getting immunization, will be educated also, will be aware also. So it is the underprivileged community or the people who are not educated, who are not able to afford, they should be focused, they should be beneficiaries, the main beneficiaries. This is what happened. The program emphasis on underprivileged communities. Next is, it is based on a bottom-up approach. Bottoms-up approach. What is bottoms-up approach? From the lower strata of the society, we go to the upwards. Equitable sharing within and between the nations will be implemented at the regional, national and global levels, at all the levels. Some information about the IMI. What is it? Intensified Mission Indradhanush. There was Mission Indradhanush to promote the vaccination, to promote the immunization in the children for the vaccine preventable diseases. Under this, we saw that 7 diseases were the diseases which were covered. Indradhanush, 7 vaccine preventable diseases were covered. After that, Indradhanush 2.0, 3.0 were launched. The topic of the discussion here is Intensified Mission Indradhanush. This Intensified Mission Indradhanush was established in 2018. 2018. What was the aim? With the goal of covering all children under the age of 2 and pregnant women who were not covered by the Universal Immunization Program for vaccination. Important. The aim was covering all children under the age of 2 and pregnant women who were not covered by the UIP, Universal Immunization Program for vaccination. It means a booster dose to UIP. Those who were left by UIP, they are covered by Intensified Mission Indradhanush. Its objective was to bolster Mission Indradhanush, which began in 2014. Mission Indradhanush's purpose was to achieve and sustain 90% coverage of the UIP in India by 2020. 90% coverage of the UIP was assured by Mission Indradhanush by the year of 2020. Some factual information about the rainbow vaccine. What all diseases are covered under rainbow vaccine? Rainbow vaccine is used to prevent diphtheria. Then there comes pertussis. Then comes tetanus. It's childhood TB, childhood tuberculosis. Then comes measles. Then it is polio, and then it is hepatitis B. Basically, rainbow, the 7 colors of rainbow represent the 7 diseases, the vaccination against these 7 diseases. This is the list. Just have a look for your general knowledge. So this was all for today about the IA 2030, Immunization Agenda 2030, the recent news regarding IA 2030, the targets of IA 2030, the key highlights of IA program, then Intensified Mission Indradhanush we discussed, Then we discussed the rainbow vaccine. We'll continue our discussion from here. In next session, we'll start a new topic. Till then, stay tuned, keep studying. Thank you so much.